Hello, my name is Erin. Welcome to the Zend Out IGTV channel. I'm here from Team Zend Out to talk a bit about pleasure rituals. I wrote a blog for zendout.com/blog. You can find it there this week called 3 Pleasure Rituals, and as you can probably tell from the name in the blog, I share 3 pleasure rituals for you. And today in this video, I wanted to share one of those rituals with you. So in my opinion, we are spiritual beings, right? But here as humans, we have these bodies, and in our bodies, we experience a wide range of sensations, feelings, emotions like fear, anxiety, shame, hunger, fullness, tiredness, pain, joy, love, pleasure, and so much more, right? There's such a wide spectrum of things we can feel and experience in our bodies, and pleasure is one of those things to me that feels so specific to having a body, right? Something that is so available to us through the tactile, through the sensual, through what we can see and feel and touch. And one of my favorite quotes about pleasure that I wanted to share with you all today comes from the classic book, The Ethical Slut, and the quote that the authors share, or what the authors share, is pleasure is a worthwhile goal in and of itself. And I just think that's so important when many of us have learned in our society that prioritizing pleasure, that caring about pleasure is selfish, it's unnecessary, maybe it's even wrong. But to me, pleasure is really our birthright, and like the authors of the book share, it's something that is worth pursuing, not as a means to an end. Pleasure as the thing itself, that is the thing worth pursuing. I think we all deserve to experience pleasure. And so the ritual I want to share with you today is actually around moving blocks to pleasure. So it's really a ritual to open to more pleasure. So like I shared, we all can have so many different blocks around pleasure depending on our personal experience, our upbringing, religious background, trauma, our culture and society at large. Pleasure is not always an easy or simple thing to work with. And so the other 2 rituals are ones that are more around stepping into pleasure, and I wanted to share this one first because I think it's really important to do this work to help us open to experience more pleasure. So the ritual is really intended to support you in sort of feeling in your body, right, where you hold blocks to pleasure, and moving them out in a way that is actually fun, maybe playful, pleasurable. It might not feel that way for you, and that's okay, but we're gonna play with that and see if we can get there, because in my opinion, it's not always or only our tears, our pain, that move energy, that move blockages. I think that we can open to more pleasure and move blocks through our body, move energy through our bodies in ways that are also fun and playful. And, there's nothing wrong with tears or experiencing pain or moving energy in those ways. This is just working with something a little bit different. And so in this way, we are working with opening to experience more pleasure and hopefully create a bit of a new pattern in the body. So you don't really need anything for this ritual other than a comfortable space where you're not going to be interrupted. Optional things, you could have some music, you could light candles, incense, anything that makes a space feel sacred to you, dim the lights, put on your twinkly lights, whatever you got, but those things are all optional. You are the spell, right? That's all you need is yourself and somewhere comfortable. I would recommend going to your bed or rolling out a yoga mat on the floor. And if you're playing music, you can put that on, some music that feels really sensual and good for you. And you'll just start to feel in your body where you hold blocks to pleasure. So I recommend starting sitting in a meditation or laying in a meditation, whatever feels good for your body, breathing deeply and trying to feel into those places that are present today. So that might look like just setting that intention and then turning your focus inward and noticing where in your body, when you think about pleasure or think about experiencing pleasure, or maybe tell yourself, you deserve pleasure, you're worthy of experiencing pleasure, pleasure is a worthwhile thing to pursue, any of those kinds of things, you could notice, what activates in your body. Where do you feel tension or tightness? What's contracting? What's here? And you could start to feel into those areas as spaces where you might be a little bit blocked against pleasure, where you might be a little bit tight around pleasure, which is totally okay, right? That's the point of the ritual, and I think we all have hang-ups around pleasure, or have had them anyways, and are working through them, so you're so not alone in that. And if you don't sense into anything, that's okay too. It's not so important that you're like, oh, I store blocks to pleasure in my left elbow. That's not really it. It's totally okay if you don't feel anything there as well, but we'll just try and we'll start to attune to that more interoceptive awareness. And so seeing what you feel, and when you feel ready, you can start to work with moving some of those blocks, some of that blocked energy, stuck energy around pleasure in an intuitive way, and perhaps in a fun way. So that's my invitation for you, to just play and see if you can let the moving of these blocks itself, the moving of the energy, be fun and be pleasurable. So just to give some examples of how that could look, you can use laughter, shaking, orgasm, yelling, roaring, hissing, moaning, vibrating, circling, dancing, moving, really literally anything you can think of or feel into to move this energy through your body. And the point isn't to be like, check mark, I'm gonna dance and I'm gonna laugh, and that's gonna be what I do. I really want to invite you to let it be intuitive, see what bubbles up for you. It might be something completely different from what I shared, and that's awesome too. But just to see how your body wants to move that energy, what you feel called to do, and see, can you let it be pleasurable? Can you let it be fun even to heal and to explore and to transmute in this way? Let your creativity and your intuition take over when it comes to moving these sort of crunchy, sticky places out of your body. And when you feel complete, you could just take a moment to breathe and notice your new state. See if you can feel where there might be some space where there wasn't before, where there might be some more openness where there wasn't before. Noticing how your connection to yourself feels now after you've moved some energy around pleasure. So yeah, just taking some time to breathe and notice, and maybe even explore these ideas and topics in your journal to process your experience afterwards as well. So I hope this ritual supports. Definitely go check out the blog if you want to see this in written format. And then there are also 2 other pleasure rituals for you to explore, and those are linked in our bio or at zendout.com/blog. You can also feel free to share in the comments below about your relationship with pleasure or your experience with this ritual or the other 2 rituals. We would definitely love to hear. Okay, sending lots of love, and I hope you enjoy.